try to share to. All right.
Woo!
Woohoo!
You know what I miss? I miss doing this. Hey guys, we're gonna give you a second to. Was this something?
Are you a drunk? Do you drink too much? Has your checked liver light come on? Are you allergic to alcohol? Do you break out in handcuffs?
Oh, geez. So Josh had to stay home. Josh is a live audience member for AGT or one of those shows. He gets invited to all this stuff. It's amazing. Hey guys, Tom Mabe, it's my buddy Jamie Utley. We have two things in common. We used to drink too much alcohol.
That's right.
I quit. I quit. And you and I, I've always quit for like a year, quit for 2 years, and I go back drinking. A vicious cycle, they call it.
Absolutely.
A vicious cycle. You might want to just make sure you watch your mic there and kind of stay on that.
Okay.
So how long have you experienced the vicious cycle? Because we all.
Oh, absolutely.
My wife, she should have left me 20 years ago. Gee, okay, I'll just go have a couple. I'm just gonna have a couple, and the couple turned into a 12 pack a day, and then I think the most I ever did. I drank one day was 14 kegs by myself.
That's crazy.
Dude, I was rocking. I was like, yeah, Tom, baby, you can drink.
That's
No.
like high school. That's awesome.
Yeah, my geez, junior high. Junior high. So
Yeah, it is a vicious cycle, though. I'll have periods where I've done really well, and then I'll just slide back into it, and it's a struggle that I have to live with every day.
Yeah, and it's I've heard a lot of people of hey, when you drink so much, you gotta call people up the next day and apologize to them. That sucks. I've never, knock on wood or some kind of thing here. I've never been arrested, and we won't even go there. But I'm very fortunate that I've never.
Yep, I've been lucky too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've been arrested, but I've only spent a couple hours in jail.
Well, that doesn't count.
No,
No, jeez.
That'll happen on the way home today.
We are going to take some live calls here in a little bit, but the whole mission of this thing here is that I've tried to stop drinking by myself. I knew when I met my biological father when I was 19, and I knew then I had a drinking problem. I only just started drinking. First, I said, "Hey, his name's Paul." I said, "Paul, did you people on your side of the family, do they drink?" And he goes, "Tommy, on my side, you drink or you don't drink." And my mom was an alcoholic, and we're gonna get into that. Like, I was talking. I went out west. I was shooting a new thing that we're shooting for Facebook Watch, and stayed with a guy who was really into the program, and he was telling me about, the biggest. And he's like I think he's been through like treatment centers, and he's very knowledgeable and stuff. And he said that the biggest thing that addicts have in common is the abandonment and the trauma as a child. And I had the abandonment. I didn't have. I didn't. My dad ran off and hid. My mom, my mom was a rock star. I don't want to bash her at all, but she raised 3 kids by herself, played drums in a country western band, and she was a hoser. That's how she dealt with me. I was definitely as a hard kid to be around. So he told me this. Have you heard of this? RID, R-I-D.
Yeah, restless,
Irritable,
and discontent. Yeah.
Discontent. He said drinking is just a symptom of that. And I said, "Wow, that's me. I'm always restless, irritable, and discontent." So
there's also a halt.
Halt. What's that?
Don't become too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. That's a big trigger.
I'm wiped out. Look at me. I look like crud. What's the first thing I say? You want to get some beef, BW3s? Get some wings?
Get some wings.
So let's see. I just want to make sure that we are indeed live before we keep on going on and people can hear us. So I'll look at some notes here. So how do you work the steps, or because I want to get in that in a second too about me finally working the steps and the higher power thing.
I've got plenty of experience of struggling with that.
With the higher power?
With the higher power, absolutely.
Tell me about it.
Okay, you see, a lot of things. This is my experience. What happens is a lot of people come back into recovery after running a gun into the streets, and they try to go back to their childhood higher power, and for many of them, it just no longer works for them for whatever reasons.
Like Santa Claus?
Could be Santa Claus. Could be Santa Claus. And so basically, recovery, specifically in 12-step programs, it gives you the ability to recreate a higher power that's both loving and more powerful than you.
Santa Claus is
that's how I was going. So I've always struggled with, I've been, I'm giving it a shot because working the steps. I did a AA meeting on Zoom yesterday
Mm-hmm.
in Louisville. It's called the Early Worms or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A couple people in town who are kind of very known
Mhm.
told me about it, and this is I love your willingness to confront this head on. Well, that is coming from Barry Stapleton. Dude, I've it, the vicious cycle. There's a whole thing in the big book called the vicious and this, but the higher power thing was something. I'm a God fearing man. Heck, I'm involved in my church. But I always struggled with, and I was talking to this guy, this producer, and I said, "What if my higher power is and God and the universe? Because look around these beautiful mountains out west and these trees, And he said, "Yeah, a lot of people have a higher power other than God."
Oh, sure. I've heard everything from doorknob to,
Really?
people. Oh, yeah. Because the door, especially like people that come out of jail, they're like, doorknob is more powerful than me. But like some people will use like a temporary higher power until they're able to recreate their own.
Is that like a temporary sponsor?
Oh, that reminds me. A few minutes ago, you mentioned about the vicious cycle in the big book.
Yep.
Why don't you tell them what the big book is?
Well, wow. Want me to tell them what the big? It's a book. And
basic text.
It's large. It was written in the 30s, right? 30s or 40s.
Yeah. I believe so.
And boy, the page. Certain things stand out to me. But go ahead.
It's the basic text for the 12-step program known as Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
It's the main educational tool for Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the big book.
And so we're talking about that, and we got you got a buddy that we're going to call here in a little bit.
Yep. I have a buddy.
He's a pro with this stuff. And guys, we're doing this we have reasons. We're kind of stingy why we're doing this. But every time I upload or I say something on Facebook, I got 4 million followers on all my platforms. I get husbands saying my wife drinks too much. Man, my wife or the wife will text me or email me, my husband drinks too much. And I've been there. How my wife thinks her husband drinks too much. And like I said, I've quit. And but the higher power thing, I got a story how I found my higher power. And this is, you guys, this is funny and weird, and you're going to think I'm bat crazy. I didn't tell you about the rooster?
No, you did not tell me about the rooster.
All right, so all week we are shooting bargain battles and for Facebook Watch. And there's a rooster that kept on the other side of this guy's property that he didn't even cock-a-doodle-doo the morning. He cock-a-doodle-doo all day long. I mean, it was like nonstop. I didn't think that they did that. I thought they just, cocked when they were waking up or something, like at 5 a.m. or something. And people like the sound guys were getting really pissed off. Hey, what? That's my higher power, because we've been talking. Mm-hmm. And all week I'm joking about this rooster being my higher power. This story is true about the rooster. This is a true thing. So one day I woke up, and all week, I was it's almost blasphemy, blasphemous, talking like that. But one morning I woke up singing Little Big Town on the pontoon, jumping on the back, don't act like you don't want to. I'm singing this song, and there's a signature riff on the mandolin. And I was singing this, I woke up singing this song. I go out to have my coffee outside, and this guy named John Phipps is out there. He's out there with me, and he knows music and whatnot. And the rooster went. I'm like, hold on, I haven't had all my coffee. And John's the guitars, and I go, does that sound like pontoons? Yeah, that rooster just did the signature riff. It's as if God said, look here, you funny son of a bitch.
My God.
If you want to make fun of me, I will show you. I will give you a sign. So I don't know. I'll never tell that story again. But it's true. It really happened. And I was talking. He said, man, Tom, look, it's whatever. It's your higher power. It's not the rooster, but just the creation of the rooster and everything. So I tried it with my will, never been able to do it, so I want to do it with my higher power will, which is my God and the universe. So
I know.
I just lost 17,000 subscribers. Jeez, this is awesome. But what do you think?
What do I think? Are you talking about like the higher power? I think it's hilarious. I think that things do happen in our lives at a time when we really need it to happen,
Right.
and maybe you just needed that little jolt right there at that time. Um,
Yeah, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? Look here, funny man. You know, I really felt that I gotten the thing. By the way, I'm on my new diet. I've lost 2 pounds.
oh, good for you. Good
People
for
are
you.
looking at me funny. Like, Tom looks good.
Yeah,
You can,
yeah. Too
you
bad.
know, my
That
whole
was
life has
something.
changed since I've lost the 2 pounds. But I need to be 25 pounds lighter in 2 weeks.
I'm in the best shape of my life.
Really? Are you? Are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You know what?
Baby's coming along.
Baby long? Yeah. What was that joke?
I-
The lady said, guys, the guy was talking to a comedian. I heard this comedian say, he said, he said, man, you've gained weight. And she said, I just had a baby. He said, for breakfast? so, so,
So
so, and,
there's a phone number if you'd like to call somebody.
yeah, let's call this guy.
This is my friend Ron, and we're testing out equipment, so we don't know how well.
Yeah,
this is
we're
gonna
testing
work.
out. We may never ever do this. This is a rare opportunity for you to see Tom and Jamie talking about being pieces of crap, being drunks,
Mhm.
and you're sober, right now.
Yeah.
The system.
For 4 blocks. No.
You know, it's 2 beers from from here to the office, from my house to the office. I'll joke about that. Okay, here we go. This is
Okay.
this guy's name. Can we say it?
Ron.
Ron.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Ron. Can you hear me all right, buddy?
Yeah, I've got my Facebook on. I'm listening to you. Should I shut that off?
Yeah, it's going to get some weird echo in your ears there. How's it sound on Facebook?
Oh, it sounds great. You and Jamie.
Oh, good.
Good. How are you, Ron?
I'm not too bad.
Great.
So lead Ron into a series of questions there, Jamie.
This is so well thought out.
That's the-
Ron, so you're in recovery, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this: when you first came in, the very beginning, think way back when, did you have a higher power when you walked in the door?
The God that I grew up with was a whole lot different than what I have today. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's
So he's saying if you can't hear him, the God that Ron grew up with is a whole lot different than the one that he has today. Okay, I buy that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And
grew up-
how's it different? Did you have this big guy with the beard in the cloud? Was your
Well-
vision or what?
Grew up, had to go to a Baptist church.
Mm.
Parents made me go to church. Same time Vietnam was going on. And I grew up and started looking at the world for what it was and thinking, how can there really be much of a God with things like this going on?
Mm.
And,
Right. So how?
so I started to question my beliefs.
Okay.
And then coming into the fellowship, starting to build some kind of relationship with, and basically I was told to start praying to whatever was out there, and then that way I would come to an understanding at a point in time. And that understanding, I think, is growing and changing, just like myself.
Did you have an epiphany to where it just suddenly appeared, or did you just notice changes in your life over a period of time?
I think it's a process over a period of time. I think some people may have epiphanies and burning bushes and realizations.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just come to it over a period of time. There's a series, the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it. There's a second step before there's a third step before they mention God. And so it kind of, and I think it's important too to realize that both AA and all the 12-step fellowship has its origin in an evangelical group. A lot of people don't know that. They don't talk about that. But in the 20s, there was an evangelical group.
I want to say this,
About-
Ron. I hate
Go ahead.
a lot of things in the big book. It says, I started reading it. Pretty amazing book. I think it's a great book to read, even if you're not struggling with addiction or alcoholism or drug use or whatever. It says you give your power over to you surrender to God, or as you understand Him.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
So
is, I think, the biggest part.
And how long have you been? How long have you been sober? And did you do the vicious cycle where you like here's a guy Justin Preve, sober 7 years, no AA. See, that's me. But then I fall back off again, and you know.
Well, I think the difference is one being sober, alcohol free, and the other is an active change in your beliefs and ideas about yourself and life.
So I'm gonna repeat that because I don't know if we can how well they can hear you. So one is being sober, alcohol free, and the other one is your belief system and how you handle life and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that, to me, that is recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to look at life differently with a more positive outlook.
Oh yeah, because here's what I have. Most insecure person who walks the face of the earth, and then I get on stage in front of a few hundred people. Judge me. So,
Yeah, exactly.
And I would call people. I'm the guy who will call a producer who doesn't call me back, and I finally get a hold of his assistant, and they say, "Oh, he was in a car wreck." Thank God, I thought he was mad at me. Dude, it's all this and these self-serving motives I've always had my entire life that I read about in the big book. So I think I'm going to be a better person, and if I can find the right group with AA, I'll do. I've been doing the Zoom meeting. I've really enjoyed the one I did yesterday, and. But I'd like to maybe go in person, maybe.
Right. Well, the thing is, if you're finding that you're not liking meetings, there's a good chance you're not going to enough meetings because they are so different.
Okay.
And so, before giving up on any particular program, I would advise checking out different nights of the week, different times of day, different areas. Check out a bunch of different.
And that's
meetings.
something else. What about Ron? What about routine? Do you have a routine like in your daily life?
Since I'm retired, not as much as I used to, but I try to take some time every day and read a daily meditation, do some journaling, do a gratitude list, do some reading either in the big book or one of the recovery-related material.
I did my resentments.
Work on steps. Well, with resentments, that comes in with steps.
Yeah, well, I'm working the steps, brother.
Okay, there's a step. NA has a step working guide. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I downloaded it. I did.
Okay, and it's very in depth with questions. And if you just answer a few questions a day, you'll be done before you know it. And getting a sponsor helps guide you through that process.
I have a temporary sponsor, a guy who's in the program. And Saturday, the thing about the 4th step is in the 5th step is that you have to tell your resentments to a stranger.
Yeah.
So I thought,
not a stranger, hopefully, but.
So, I mean, I'm not.
It could be anybody.
Maybe like the Uber. I want to take an Uber. Hey, buddy, well, I got you here.
That's pretty good.
And he'll go through and look at your defects and. I've always felt like it was a cult. Well, I'm gonna give it a shot because I have quit. If I had a DUI, I want to say if I had a DUI for every DUI I should have had in my 20s and 30s. Oh, and geez, Louise. And I've came out unscathed, and I've tried it. I tried it. A lot of stress. Once the corona kicked in, I lost every. Are you watching, Dad? What does Josh say? He says, my son. Things just really got rough. Mm-hmm. Every gig canceled in the house. Can't go anywhere. Kept on going to the beach. How about a lot of people fell off the wagon during that, like I did?
Oh, I agree. Life on life terms during this pandemic has been tough.
Yeah. So, well, Ron, what about your higher power is God?
Well, I use the word God, but I use it very loosely.
Okay.
I don't necessarily worship a deity. A lot of people, I think, that go to church or believe in God worship a deity, and I don't worship a deity, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense to me. Because I'm pretty much in the same boat.
A deity.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that there's something out there. I've seen too many coincidences to think they're all coincidences.
Okay.
I've gotten very lucky staying out of trouble and getting out of danger. It's hard to think that I could do it all on my own. But really what happened to me was back in 1986, I made a deal with the God that I grew up with.
Okay.
And that deal was that I would never do any drugs or drink if you just keep my dad dying from cancer. Well, God didn't live up to his end of the bargain, so I didn't speak to God for over 20 years. So then, when it became necessary to find a higher power, I had to look elsewhere.
Gotcha.
That God just didn't work for me anymore.
My God's better than your God.
Probably.
My God
Yeah, my God's
Right.
on the honor roll.
knows mandolin signature riffs from Little Big Town's pontoon. I'm going to hell. I'm going to be in the marching band there. I will tell you right now. Well, no, I just so this we're watching this because every time I quit, I've always been very verbal about it because I felt like my fans and people on Facebook would hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 months later, they see me in a comedy club having a beer, and I thought you stopped drinking. I just, nice shirt, and
Does comedy clubs a trigger for you?
yeah, because I really started drinking heavily when I started doing comedy because I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
If you ever want to, yeah, that was just totally stupid. But yeah, I think so. But I did 3 shows. Yeah, our good friend Donnie Baker that you worked with this week. You guys invited me out to do some guest sets because I have not been on stage in so long. It was so. He was the guy who invented the beer bottle mug with the bottoms up. The guy,
Oh yeah. Josh Springer is his
Josh Springer. I was sort of giving him tips. I said, you drum up, you trump up the ramp up the punchlines too much. Then I get up there and he watch it, and I just totally bomb. My first time on stage in like I guess 3-4 months, and
name. When the other night, Thursday?
Thursday night.
You didn't bomb? What are you talking about?
I thought I bombed. You need were you molested by a microphone when you were a child? Because you're afraid to get anywhere near that damn thing.
I'm new to this.
Ron, I'm
new to
sorry. We
this.
we got off topic here. So
That's all right. I'm listening to you.
well, the
Totally
money
understand.
the money I'm saving from not drinking, I'm buying a spaceship. And not one of those junkie spaceships. God, look how fat I'm like fat and skinny at the same time. Look at my face. Look at that mug. I mean, I'm still handsome. Oh, get out. Maybe not. So,
Well, when you get on stage, your mission is to connect with those people in the audience and try to make them laugh. And so
right.
I think that's a big part of higher power too, is human beings being connected in ways such as comedy or helping each other, or being, in a way, you're being of service to those people, helping them through life on life's terms. And so try to look at it that way, man.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it. Ron, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Ron. Thank you
letting
so
us chat with you. We may call you back if we ever do this again. I doubt if we will. I got it's like four people watching. So,
All right.
but thanks, brother. Appreciate
Thank you.
There's 119 people watching.
Woohoo! All right. So I just Ron didn't mean to hang up on you so quick like that.
Thank
So-
you, Ron.
So here's where I'm at. Quit drinking, and I was sneaking beer. And my wife goes, "I'm not going back here again. Don't do it." No, and go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
How about your wife, your spousal unit there? Your
Well, I mean,
brother.
but you got to realize that, I mean, you spend decades where it's part of your life. It's just, you have to mourn it. I mean, you just can't cut it off and expect to never want it back in your life. It's the most natural thing in the world for
I mean, it's
drunks
like
to
even
drink.
relationships. I
Yeah.
recently called a girl I dated in the 2nd grade. I said, "Look, enough time's gone by. Let's try to work this
Let's
out."
give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I gave her back her clackers.
So, remember those things? So, guys, what we need to give these guys some takeaways. So, I think drinking is just a symptom from what my studies are showing. Drinking is just a symptom of restless, irritable, and discontent. And then you have, until you fix the abandonment and trauma and address these things, you are always going to drink. You're self-medicating.
Mm-hmm.
So you can stop with willpower. You can white knuckle it for 4 or 5 months, but you have to find something that works for you. And do not try to stop drinking without medical advice, right?
Oh, absolutely. That can be dangerous.
That could be real. I mean, people who drink a bottle of vodka a day, that gets really bad. So go to your local primary care physician. Get maybe a couple of weeks worth of Xanax or something. Whatever.
Well, I don't know if they still do it today, but
get
I remember
addicted to
years
those.
ago, people that were drunks, they gave
Like
what's the blue
Klonopin?
pill?
Viagra.
They
Viagra. They give them Viagra.
Valium. They give them Valium
Give them something else to do besides drink.
because the DTs from alcohol, it can be very dangerous.
they say they could kill you.
Yep.
Now people go, well, I can't quit drinking, I'll die.
Right.
But anywho, so I just I'm very excited that this is the first time I'm doing it with the steps.
Right.
And
Good.
I've quit 100 times.
That
And,
is awesome.
So yeah, we thought that maybe this sober talk may help some people, may
Might
inter-
just help us.
help us, and that's why when I'm talking to these sponsors, they really want to sponsor. They want to have sponsorees.
Oh yeah, it's all part of it.
Am I saying that word right?
You have to help other recovering alcoholics in order to stay sober. That's the
Oh.
main thing behind it.
So I don't know if I'm, to say that out loud that I'm an alcoholic. I don't know. I drink way too much. I'm in a hotel room.
They have a questionnaire you can actually get from AA.
Yeah.
They'll ask you a series of questions to tell you if you don't turn anything in. It's a self-test.
Okay. That's
But they'll
cool.
ask questions. Have you ever lied about your drinking? Have you ever hid a bottle somewhere? Have you ever?
Right. And my kids, they deserve, and I tell them, I grew up in a very, very tumultuous, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sketchy.
Sketchy, that's right. I grew up in a very, very rowdy house, and, mom would get us up at 3 o'clock in the morning, get up, get these dishes done, and I had the abandonment, not having a father, and always wondering who that guy was, and finally, and I want my kids to have a good, I don't want to see dad drunk on the couch. So there you go, guys. We were going to immediately delete this. So don't anything else you want to add, Jamie? Well,
I think.
do we want to take a call? Does anybody want to call in? If anyone wants to call in, I want to let you do so right now. We'll take the first caller. If you are not a joke or anything, I mean that would be funny, but if you want to call in and tell us anything, how you stay sober or whatever, hold on, I wrote this number down. Call 502-552, is that a 5? Yeah, 502-552-3792. 502-552-3792. If you would like to go live with us right now, and 502-552-3792.
Empire.
No, like a light bulb. I think that sounds like a jingle. So no one wants to talk to us, and I'm going to be turning this phone off. So let's see here. I want to go. So
we would probably need to flash that number somewhere at the beginning of the episode to figure that out.
Yeah, 502-552-3792. I'm really surprised no one's calling. And I'm wondering if maybe, let's see here. Let's write it. I'm going to put it in the comments right here. I'm going to put.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, let's see here. Give us a call. 502-552-3792. And tell us how you're a dirty, worthless piece of drunk person. 3 other people are watching. Watching with you, Sonia Brown. Give us a call. Philip and Jane Gaynor are Jane's gonna say, Tom, shut the hell up. Quit acting like you know what you're talking about. Jane Gaynor is my therapist. She's Louise. And she's good. She's the first therapist I've had in this area. Roger Hayes. Tom, praying for you. Gingerly Hall's watching. Okay, so guys, we love you. Thanks for stopping in. We got nothing. We just wanted to have you want
test the equipment? Whatever.
Test the
We had to
equipment.
test
We were.
I keep trying to talk into your microphone. No, I'm new to this. I'm
You're
not
special.
He's the big star.
Special. All right, guys. That's it for us. Are you done? Anything?
I'm done. I'm
No
done.
one's. No, hold on. I keep on seeing.
I don't think we gave him enough time to prepare to call in.
Because no one wants to do like like talk. They're not as ballsy as we are. Tom, I'm an Alka-Seltzer. See, I can't even remember myself to say it. All right, guys. Love you. We'll talk to you soon.
I gotta turn it off in here.
Can't turn it off from the. So I get a few extra seconds of airtime.
Yeah, say what you want, brother. Bring it in, bring it home.
My dad is like a single cell organism. Every time I need him for something, he splits. That's a science joke.